Good afternoon world from Siargao Island. I'm standing on the rooftop of our house and we are about to have solar panels fitted. We've hired the boys from Don Solar today. They've come from Surigao city and they're going to come and sort out our power problems. It's a little bit of a windy day, but at least the sun is shining. Super glad that these guys are going to get good weather conditions to fit our system. I hope you don't mind a little bit of wind noise, but it feels so good to be standing up here now, knowing that this is getting done today. It's a big dream of mine. I'm going to be so obsessed by this. I love the technology of solar, and to think that this place here is going to be energized entirely by the sun is something that just blows my mind. This is our current setup. No, I'm only messing around. That is just the one panel that we use to power our solar fan. Another amazing bonus of this setup is that it should power the other house as well, because both of these houses run on the same system. So even when we have guests come to stay in this house, now that tourism is open, there won't be any brownout issues. If there's any power issues from the grid, it won't be a problem. So if you've watched any of our early morning videos, the sun rises around about here and it just goes straight up over the house. And then we normally, I mean, it's about 1 o'clock now, we normally get sun way up until 7 o'clock. I'm also quite glad that we're having this system fitted after the typhoon, because now the guys at Don Solar, they've had additional experience about what happens with a wind that strong. So the system that's being fitted today will be fitted with that in mind, which gives me a lot of reassurance, because it is an investment to get solar on your home. You definitely don't want it to blow away at the first hint of a storm. My hair is looking wild right now. So some of the equipment is being unboxed in the house right now. Hi guys. So all of this here is what's going to be going up on the house over the next few days. Story is entertaining herself. What are you up to, Story?
Painting.
Our solar fan is running. Has it cut out yet, Sacha?
Not yet, no. It's been on what, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
So we probably haven't got much life left in it.
I know, it doesn't last as long as I would have hoped, but when the panel's in direct sunlight, it does work. Are you excited about having solar panels fitted?
Yeah.
God, you got so excited it made you cough. Story's been talking about this for a long time, hasn't she?
She has,
Yeah. Not quite as long as me though.
No.
Good afternoon, Don.
Hello.
So we've been talking about where we're going to place the inverter, right?
Yeah.
And I think you said this here might be the best solution.
Here.
Yeah. Why is that?
We need to put it because actually we are in sea breeze,
Right.
so it's better to put it inside.
Yeah, because we do get a lot of salty air through here.
It's actually harsh for the electronic devices.
Yeah, the equipment is gonna take a battering here, isn't it? Yep, so we decided that we will put it against this wall, and Don is actually excellent at doing things very neatly, so it's gonna look quite good, I think, here. I mean, we've got white walls, the equipment, the inverter and the battery is also white. These guys know what they're doing. We did think about perhaps putting it out here, because this area doesn't actually get any wind or even in sun exposure in this bit here, but I think because you can feel the humidity, and obviously when we're running the air conditioner most of the time, especially if it's running off of the solar, it will be better to keep the electronics lasting as long as possible if we keep it inside the house. Over the next few days we will find out if any of our electrical equipment needs replacing. I've mentioned before, I'm pretty sure this TV is dead, but we won't know until we plug everything back in. I sincerely hope that our blender is still working, because we actually had that shipped in from the UK. Possibly even the oven might be dead, but we just don't know. How much of our electrics do you think we're going to have to replace?
Honestly, probably all of it.
Yeah.
But I hope not, because it's going to be really expensive.
I know, fingers crossed.
All of our little gadgets and kitchen equipment.
Yeah, I mean, it might be an opportunity to upgrade, mightn't it, and feel like home again.
Yes.
They've made a big mess in the kitchen.
Unboxing everything.
Unboxing.
Sorry.
It's going to be a cool Story. That's the inverter. That's what we're going to put up on the wall. And it's going to be a battery in here too.
Where's the inverter?
It's the one in the corner. It actually says inverter on the box. I've just been looking at our shelves to see like what's gone mouldy and what hasn't. I was looking at this picture of me and Story from when we were in the early days of the island. Story couldn't swim, so that's why she was wearing those armbands. And look how short my hair was. What do you think, Story?
Yeah.
You remember that day?
Yeah, remember that drawing up there?
I love this drawing. Actually,
Yeah, I was just gonna
it was a prediction, wasn't it? Because look, Story's drawn a palm tree flying through the air and wind. Look, Story, you predicted the storm.
Oh yeah.
See, there's Story in the middle holding us, saying everything's going to be okay, and that palm tree was blasting through the air.
Yeah.
So did you know it was going to happen?
No.
You can see my hair blasting back in the wind there. Gross.
What?
This is what happens when you don't have AC and the house is shut up.
Yeah.
Things go mouldy.
Yucky, yucky, yuck, yuck.
You have to wash that
Yeah,
sometime.
but I think we can save that. We can save that. It just needs a bit of like bleaching, sunlight, and air conditioning.
Yeah, you have to do it like on the edge.
I'm just standing by the window here to get a bit of breeze. Actually, what's the strange thing about this house is even if you've got the windows fully open, unless you're standing right next to them, you don't get the breeze, which is the reason why we keep our air conditioning or fans running most of the time. So I'm really glad now that having solar with full sunshine, we'll be able to just do that, you know, with a clean conscience, because it's going to be energy harvested directly from the sun, put into our devices, and then stored in the battery overnight. If there's anybody thinking about moving close to the sea at any point, don't bother with IKEA style furniture. Anything that's kind of like fiber board or, you know, recycled board with laminate, it just goes moldy. As soon as you don't have like an airflow, like a proper airflow, even if you do have a proper airflow, it's just really hard to keep that kind of thing running. So looking around at the types of materials that have survived this type of environment, we now know what kind of things to buy when we eventually build our own place or buy our own place in the future. Story's doing a bit of calimbering. That hasn't gone mouldy, that's good.
Yeah.
Just checking on the electrical box here, everything's gone rusty. It really is a harsh environment. The kit is slowly coming out. Look at that, that looks really cool. Is that the battery then?
Yes, this one's the battery.
Okay, so that one
weighs
is
around, I think, almost 100.
100 kilos.
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness.
It took 4 of them to carry.
Yeah, you brought that all the way from Surigao to here. 100 kilos. So you're gonna have to bolt that into the wall really solid.
Yes.
Make sure it doesn't fall off. I never realised it was so big, but it looks really nice. Lovely design. So another reason why we've been planning on getting this solar fitted is to power the main well water pump, because we've got rainwater catchment coming from the tank on the side of the house. But of course, if it hasn't rained for a long time and you just want high water pressure, you need to get water from the pump. And maybe all of the houses will get their running water back, because right now it's only our house that has running water. Looking at a sunny day like this, it seems wasteful to not have solar if you can afford it. I sincerely hope that everything lives up to my expectations of how this should be. I know that there's going to be a certain amount of, I don't know, understanding, a learning curve involved, but you know, we're not affiliated with Don Solar or his team. We've paid for this with our own money, and we're just sharing our experience as we go. If this works and everything is as we thought it would be, then it's just something to share with the world, isn't it? Like, the technology's getting better, more people are like being educated about it. Hopefully in some way we can be part of that. When you live this close to the sea, it does feel a little bit like a waste to not use the sun exposure that you get from being, you know, this outdoors, you know, this exposed, no city buildings around. I mean, we love how natural everything feels here. So to be totally reliant on the grid or even a generator or something like that, it seems like it's time to make the choice over to renewable energy. One of the other options that we were talking about is perhaps adding wind as well, so that if it's windy season and it's night time, you can still generate power. And the inverter that we actually chose has the option to have that added later. So there's expandability. So if there's any tech heads out there that are interested in the system we're having fitted, it's a 6.7 kilowatt system. That's 15 solar panels. They're 450 watts each, and they should more than enough cover our electricity usage, especially on a sunny day. When it's not sunny and they're not pulling in as much power, we should be overpowered enough to be able to store energy in the battery and also just keep running even if the grid goes offline. But we did actually choose a hybrid inverter, and that means that it's half connected to the grid and half powered by a battery and by the panels. So if there is a situation where we run out of battery power in the night time for whatever reason and the grid is up and running, it will just top it up on the grid when the battery drops below 10%. So seeing all of the solar panels going up on the roof is very exciting. It's a vision and a dream of ours that we've just been visualizing for, I don't even remember how long. I remember this technology used to be very, very expensive, and it's not cheap now, but we did a little bit of a cost analysis, and really, judging by the price of our current electricity bills, we can easily justify the cost of it within 10 years. It used to be 25 years plus, and then the equipment would need replacing, so it wasn't viable before. But now that the technology has improved so much over the years, it's definitely worth contacting a solar company and seeing if you can benefit even from just reducing your electricity bills. There are many options out there now that weren't there before, being completely off-grid, being hybrid, half on, half off the grid, and being tied to the grid as well. So that's the cheapest option because there's no batteries. And I just feel like there's benefits all round to be had. The world needs to think about the climate and how we use energy, because energy has become a necessity these days for work, for everything. You know, we need it for so much. And I know you can live without it, but in the world that we live in, with our career and our future and Story's future, we definitely feel like solar is the way to go. So that's why we contacted Don Solar. We love the look of his work, and we're just super excited to see everything come together and, you know, finish this dream, put it together and just implement it so it's no longer a dream and it's a reality for us here. It's very interesting to watch Don and his boys doing his work up here. We were just talking about like where they're getting power from, because most of the time people would bring a generator if like there was a power cut or whatnot, but they're actually just running all of their tools off of the actual battery that is going to power our house. I didn't even think of it. Obviously it makes sense, it's a big battery, 10 kilowatt hours, lithium ion, so it has a lot of charge, and it's enough to power everything they need so that they can do their work off the grid without a generator. So right now I'm trying my best to document this experience of having solar finally fitted to the house. I've actually recorded this video over 2 days. But Don Solar and his boys have been hard at work since the minute they arrived on the island. I reckon at this point they've probably put about 14 or 15 hours into the installation, and it's already looking almost complete. There is a feeling that it might be finished by today, possibly tomorrow morning with testing and everything. So we're super excited about everything. It is amazing to see the panels up on the roof. A dream come true, especially with the sun setting and all of this afternoon light coming down over the trees. I have to admit, this is my first time seeing our location from a drone's eye view since the storm. So it was a bit shocking to have a look at what things used to look like versus now, but I feel like doing this solar production is a massive step forward for us. It's a big commitment to Siargao Island and to the Philippines. We are going to be staying here for quite some time, and I do believe that there's always going to be a part of our life, part of our soul here on this island. At this point, I'm extremely impressed with the quality of work that Don and his boys have been doing, especially with the railings when they fitted the aluminium. It's very, very thick gauge, and we even stood on it to make sure it didn't bend. It's really solid. And the way that it's been put up with the waterproofing, the rubber gaskets so nothing will leak through, I'm just seeing high standard of work. I'm seeing pride in work, and that is the kind of things, those are the values that I believe in, and those are the reasons why I choose a company to work for us to make a dream come true. So Don and his team have been working very hard to get this solar setup completely done. You will notice actually that the lights are already on in here. We've just been walking around doing a bit of a test. Did you come across any problems with the build?
No, nothing at all. So,
This is your first build in Siargao, right?
yes, this is my first installation in Surigao.
What's really cool actually is we found out that Don actually has family here in the island.
My mom is from Santa Monica.
Yeah, and your auntie was actually singing the Mañanita
Yes.
for my daughter's story on her birthday. So there's a family connection there that we didn't even know when we started interacting. So we've been without power for 2 months now.
2 months.
Yeah, and it's, you know, not just Siargao. Many places in the Philippines have been hit hard. So the idea that the sun is now bringing energy to our house is pretty amazing. Can you do the honors and flip the main switch?
Sure. So, energizing emergency power supply in 3, 2, 1.
Just that sound, that beep, that sound of power coming back to the house.
After 2 months.
After 2 months, we have lights, and I do believe we have the air conditioning, which has been tested all morning, and we can see power has returned to the house. That is pretty fantastic. Also, something else that we tested, wasn't it, was the other air conditioners.
The other 2.
Yeah, they actually all run together, and we couldn't do that before when we were running on the grid. So that is fantastic. Why do you reckon that might be? That we couldn't run them before all together, but we can now?
I'm not sure. I haven't checked it, like the alarm on the AC side.
Yeah, but something must have been weak on the wiring side of things. Yeah.
It's been, the transmission is low.
Yeah, because when we were speaking with Siargao about this, they basically said there was no solution. And now we have solar and we have all 3 air conditioners running. So what's really cool about this system is this device here. So Don has been showing me.
So this one is the solar. So if you can see this one, the solar power.
Yep.
It produces as of now around 2.95 kilowatt.
It's a little bit cloudy at the moment,
It's
isn't
cloudy
it?
at the moment. The total kilowatt we installed is around 6.75 kilowatt. And then as of now we are consuming, this one is the load. So
Yeah.
that's 0.14 kilowatt. So the condenser is not yet on. So basically it's the lights
Yeah.
and the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So this one is the battery. So it's around 53%. So we started this morning at around 19%. If I'm
Okay.
not mistaken.
And it's only been a few hours, so it's already charged that much. That's pretty. And we've been running the air conditioner.
Yes.
If nothing was on, it would probably be much higher. Yeah.
This one is the grid.
Yeah.
So here in Siargao, it's Surigao. So
Yeah.
basically, we don't have that yet.
Yeah. Because we're
So-
still not connected. We've
Yes.
still got a massive problem with electricity on the island after the storm.
So we have solar power and the battery powering up the whole house.
So right now we're basically totally off grid. And because this is a hybrid inverter, when the grid is reconnected, we will be connected to both.
Yes.
So if the battery does ever drop below, the grid will kick in and top it up for us.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. I love this technology. Would you say that solar technology has gotten more affordable in the last 10 years or so?
Yes, I think so because the past 2 years, I think it was doubled.
Oh, really?
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It was really expensive. I talked to one of my clients in Pabel.
Yeah.
It was around, I think, 600. Like a 3 kilowatt with 4 kilowatt inverter was around 600.
So it's like half the equipment for almost the same price. So now that you can get a lot more for your money with the technology that's been produced. That's really amazing. I think more and more people, especially after this storm, are going to become super interested in this technology. One thing I love about contacting Don is that he really explained the things that I just have no clue about, you know. Electricity is complicated, right? And being able to be educated about this kind of stuff so you understand what it's doing for you and what you're doing for the environment is fantastic. So I highly recommend Don and his team, not just for the quality of the work, which I'm very impressed by, but just the education, you know, like helping me understand what I'm doing, what we're investing in, and your future. So huge thanks, Don. We really appreciate this. This is
Thank you so
a
much.
big moment for us. And I can't wait to show the family when they get here later. Hello. Welcome back to the power.
I can see my balance bike.
Yeah? Can you also
It's
see
already down there.
all the lights are on?
Everything is on.
The air conditioning is on.
I can see my flower light is on.
Yeah, your flower light. Do you want to go and check it properly? Look at that.
And the big light.
We've got the power.
Oh, not again.
And the air conditioning's on.
Oh yeah.
How does it feel to be back home?
Good.
It does.
And
doesn't it?
that one. And look, can you see that?
Big old inverter and battery. And solar panels powering our house.
What is it on the thing?
The top one is the inverter. It shows you how much power.
No, what is the power?
Oh, the battery?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. There, the big bottom one. See that big rectangle?
Yeah.
That's the battery.
That's what holds all the sunshine
Yeah.
in here.
I mean, I'm telling you what everything is on the
okay.
battery.
Oh, I'll explain all of that later. It's quite complicated. You love to know about how everything works, don't you?
Yeah.
We just went up the hill to look at the panels, didn't we?
Yeah.
Ah, you saw them all?
First thing she'll need to do was
All
look at the
15 of
solar
them?
panels.
And it's solar sofa.
Yeah.
Back to normal.
Yeah, I just need
And
to
this
put
is in here.
I need to put the covers on. I still need to do a bit of tidying up, but at least we've got power back, yeah?
Yeah, we can help you with that.
Yeah, thank you. Ah, back on the sofa. Feels good to be home.
It does. Very good. It feels good to have power, but also a little bit strange
It's
at
odd.
the same time. Like being kind of without it at the house here for so long. It does feel a little bit odd, and I'm like walking into a room, turning the light on, and straight away turning it back off again. Like,
Yeah.
conserve that energy.
It definitely changes the way you look at energy consumption. Every time we turn on an appliance now, I go and watch the device to see how much it's using to make sure we've got enough power for the day. But so far we're massively overpowered.
Yeah, and it's been really cloudy and rainy today as well, so it hasn't really been a solar friendly day at
No.
all. But yeah, we're all good here,
hasn't-
even in the clouds.
Yeah, it hasn't affected the performance of the day at all yet, but we'll find out how things go at night time.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing like this is going to be a subject that we'll constantly be talking about from here on out, like we always used to talk about the temperature.
Yeah.
Now we're going to be talking about how much sun are we getting, are we generating enough power. I don't know if you can hear this popcorn monster down here. Look at you, Story's just made herself some popcorn. That was fun, wasn't it?
It's my popcorn machine Daddy bought me.
Yeah, Mummy and Daddy got
Mummy
you.
and Daddy.
We got you a popcorn machine for Christmas, and we didn't have any electricity, did we? So now you can use it. Does it make delicious popcorn?
Yeah.
Are you happy to be home?
Yes.
Me too. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Oh, I've got plastic in my mouth. Oh, I heard some dogs.